Sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches. Let's go. What's up, guys? Joe here with ScruffyArms.com and the Scruffy Fam. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I've got a 338 Win Mag. It is my Ruger M77 original tank safety. I got it from my uncle, and I have put a little over 100 rounds through it since I have owned it. And the last time I took it to the range, I had intended to try to deer hunt with it this season with a little bit lighter grain. I was going to use a 200 grain bullet, which isn't too far off of a 300 Win Mag. So I was going to use a 200 grain bullet, and I went to the range, and my shots were all over the place. So I pulled out the ammo that I knew this thing could shoot really well, that I have gotten MOA or sub-MOA with consistently, and it was all over the place. Enough that I was starting to get concerned of, okay, I need to go check and make sure that the rings are okay, I need to make sure the optic's not broken, and went through all of the things that I would normally go through to check to make sure everything's okay. And then I said, you know what? Let's just give it a really good cleaning. It is a heavy caliber Magnum. It doesn't take very many rounds for it to get super dirty and clogged up, so let's run all of our cleaning stuff through it. I ran carbon and copper cleaner, lead cleaner, carbon destroyer, all the things. Got it to where I was running clean patches, and then I took my Borescope down. And that's when I saw pitting in the barrel. Now, when I first got this rifle, I inspected the barrel, and it wasn't in the best shape, but it also wasn't horrible. Okay, so it was okay, and I thought, alright, I should be able to get a season or two out of this if I try to keep the round count low. So, you know, honestly, when you're doing ammo tests, 100 rounds isn't like a big deal. 100 rounds is actually pretty normal. So I put a little over 100 rounds as I was looking to find a load that this really liked, and I did. I found a load that it really liked. It really liked the Hornady SST 225 grain, and you know, that was a great loading for it. I got enough that I could hunt with it, and I thought, you know what, this will be a good year to hunt with that. But then I had some 200 grain nozzler partitions. I was like, you know what, for deer, you know, if I'm going to try to shoot a deer, maybe that 25 grains less would be a little bit more applicable. There is 185 grain. I wasn't able to find bullets to load for that, but I had 200 grain. So I went with the 200 grain nozzler partition, which would be perfectly fine. And it started out getting good groups, and then they just opened and opened and opened. And I'm like, this is really weird. So talked to another gunsmith, and he and I were like, well, let's really clean it out, and then let's run a barrel scope down it and see what happens. And I have a barrel scope. I have a test-long barrel scope. I will do a full review of that here soon, and I'll run it down expensive rifle barrel and cheap rifle barrel. I think I've done one on the 6.5 PRC. You guys can go back and look at that. But let me show you what I got going on here. So I've already taken the scope off because I know that the barrel's got to come off. So you guys can see it's unloaded. Okay, it's unloaded. This is really unfortunate. I've got the Macmillan stock on it. We got a muzzle brake on it, which really tamed the recoil. It's free floated. It's got a very nice trigger on it. This is a very, very nice rifle. But when I checked first, I saw some rust here in the chamber before we get to the lands. And I went, that's weird. So I really scrubbed that out and cleaned it. And then as I came down, we were looking good here, 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 and then about here, I saw some really rough marks. That could just be, you know, a little bit of buildup or something, so I ran the brush through a couple more times to see if I could smooth it out, and nothing. And I went, okay, that's not good. I went a little bit farther, and about right here, I found this ring that went all the way around the barrel, over the lands, all the way around. Now, that could just be a really rough tooling mark. This rifle was made in 1979. It was a very definitive mark. It is extremely weird. So I looked a little bit farther, and then I saw pitting, and it is pitted from about here to here pretty decently. So that weird ring, pitting, a little bit more pitting, and then here at the muzzle where the crown is, there's even more erosion here. So in 3 or 4 places inside the barrel, we've got some pretty serious issues going on. So when you've got these types of issues, there's a couple things we need to look at. 1, how old is the rifle? 2, what is the caliber of the rifle? And 3, who's the manufacturer of the rifle? So those are, and the reason those 3 things go into it is because, let's start with the manufacturer. First, if you know the manufacturer, you can know the process they use to make the barrels, okay? Ruger, since the 90s, I think it was 91, they started doing the cold hammer forged barrels, okay? So they started doing all of their barrels in-house. When this rifle was made, they contracted out the barrel. So Ruger themselves did not make this barrel. They contracted out someone else to make this barrel. So it wasn't made the same way that some of the newer barrels are made. So it's important to know that. You need to understand if the company themselves made it or it was contracted out, okay? Because then that can tell you what materials and quality of the barrel it is. Now, in the late 70s and 80s, the Ruger M77 got a bad rap because of the barrels that would come on these. Some of them would be really good and some of them would be really bad. Now, I can't tell you one way or another on this barrel if it was good or bad because my uncle got this used. I got this from my uncle. I am 45 years old. This is 44 years old. So when this rifle's been around as long as I have. So if the number of places I've been in my 45 years, I can only imagine the history that this rifle has. And when I think about that, how many rounds have passed through this rifle? Now, I think my uncle may have shot this a handful of times. I have definitely shot this more than he did. So whoever had this before my uncle, I think used this as their primary hunting rifle, because the barrel shows a lot of wear. It has been shot a lot. But then you need to look at the caliber, okay? So this is a 338 Win Mag. It is a heavy caliber, and it is a lot of abuse on barrels, okay? When you're pushing as much powder as you're pushing through these heavy Magnum caliber bullets, you're burning a lot, okay? You're burning a lot. And if you don't clean them as regularly as you should, you're going to start to get some degradation inside the barrel. Even if you clean it and stay tip-top shape on these things, the barrels are going to start to wear. They're going to wear down to a point where you need to start to take drastic measures. Now, could I hand lap this or fire lap this to try to correct some of those things? After looking at it with the Borescope, no. These are too deep, and there's some concerns that looks like there are some cracks on the inside of the barrel, some stresses on the inside of the barrel that just, at this point, I don't feel comfortable shooting it anymore because it feels like I'm playing Russian roulette if I do. So, what do we do? Now, as I have been thinking about this, and as I have been really racking my brain what to do, a couple things come to mind. The first thing is I've got several rifles that will handle deer and down no problem. Okay, I've got a 270 Winchester, I've got a 308 Winchester, I've got a 6.5 Creedmoor, I have a 7.62 by 39. All of those handle whitetail perfectly fine. 270 and 308 could handle elk if I needed to. Probably a little light for what I would want for elk, but I could do it. And black bear. So here in Wisconsin, we've got black bear, whitetails. That's essentially, there is elk, but it's very hard to get. Now, we do have elk here in Wisconsin, but it's a lottery to get, and they only select a couple of people every year. There's a very small herd here that they're trying to bring back. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that I could go elk hunting, or even do a trip to Alaska and even Africa to do some big game hunting. These are things that I want to do. They're things that are on our list of things we would like to do as a family. So looking at that, the 338 Win Mag fit a perfect spot. Okay, it fit a wonderful spot for that. The 338, when it was introduced with the Winchester Model 70 as the Alaskan. So it was the Alaska round. And even up in Alaska today, the 338 Win Mag is very popular. Now, I think it is waning in popularity. It's a belted magnum, and I think belted magnums on the whole are starting to fall off the wayside. That's old technology that just isn't needed anymore. So when I started to look at it, I wanted to look and see, okay, if I need a new barrel, this is an option for me to rechamber this. I don't have to stick with the 338 Win Mag. I can go to any other magnum caliber that has the same bolt face dimensions and can fit in the magazine still. And I started to look and see, okay, what do I think would be a good all-around hunting caliber and rifle? So I did a lot of research. I mean, a stupid amount of research. And so when I look at this platform, if you were to buy a Ruger M77 and you could have it chambered in whatever you want in the magnum calibers. So you look here, this is a magnum action, this is not a short action. So short actions take away pretty much everything 6.5 PRC and down. Full actions in the magnums, I could go 300 Win Mag, 7 Rem Mag, 7 PRC, 300 PRC, any of those, because it would fit. So, when I looked at all of that, I decided that I am going to rebarrel this and rechamber this rifle into 7 PRC. Yep, 7 PRC. I did a video a little while ago talking about, I think the 7 PRC might be the best all-around caliber that is out there now. I think it fits a really sweet spot. I think you can go heavy enough for caliber that you can harvest just about every big game on the planet, and you can go low enough that you could go down to even pronghorn and not be overkill. So, guys, my Ruger M77 is going to go from a 338 Win Mag to a 7 PRC. So it'll be kind of a unicorn, because when I rebarrel this, this will be a Ruger M77 original Tang safety in 7 PRC. I think that is really cool. I do have this Macmillan stock on here, which is super light. If I want, I have the wood stock that I could put back on, but I really don't want to do that at this time. I think leaving it in this Macmillan stock, putting the new barrel on it, I'll get it threaded. I'll get it threaded for 5/8 24 like the rest of my stuff is, and that way I can run it suppressed. I also have the option of how long I want to do the barrel. So this barrel was 22 inches, and for velocity's sake, that 22 inches is really good, but I could go down to 18 or 20 inches. Now, I'm going to be losing a lot of velocity if I do that, but 20 inches with a can on it, I'm getting back to 24 or 26 inches total overall length. And if I want that to be a hunting rifle and just be the ultimate hunting rifle, I think a 20-inch barrel 7 PRC in this Macmillan stock is going to be kind of epic. So, guys, this is just to give you an update on what's going on with this. This is not going to be a short-term project. Barrel manufacturing is not going super fast right now. So I got to figure out who I'm going to get the barrel from. Am I going to get a pre-fit? Am I going to get a barrel blank? I do have another gunsmith that I'm going to work with, and he has the ability to chamber, thread, and cut barrels. So I'm going back and forth if I'm just going to have him do everything, or if I'm going to get a pre-fit and we're just going to take this off, put that one on, headspace it up, and call it good. So we're going to go from there, guys, but this is just part one of the Ruger M77 journey. So this is the last time you guys are going to see it in this configuration as the 338. The next time we see this, this rifle is going to have a different barrel on it and a different chamber, and we're going to take it to the range and we're going to see what we can do with the new 7 PRC. So, guys, thank you for everyone who has subscribed, everyone that's following along. Tell me what you think. Think I'm making the right choice by going to 7 PRC? I think I am, and I think this is going to be a pretty epic platform for it. So if you're not already subscribed, like, stay in the know. And if you guys have any questions about this, or if you've got any ideas yourself or things you'd like to see in this process, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. But until next time, guys, thank you all for watching, and stay blessed.